My friends, I want to begin tonight by telling you something that, once you really hear it, will explain almost every result your life has ever produced. Every relationship that found you, every opportunity that arrived, every door that opened, every door that stayed closed. All of it operates by a single principle, and the principle is so simple, so quiet, so almost too obvious, that when I say it out loud, you may at first underestimate it. I am asking you not to, because once you fully understand this one principle and begin to live by it, your entire relationship with what you want changes. Here is the principle. Everything you want is on the same frequency as you, not on a higher frequency, not on a future frequency, not on a frequency you will eventually graduate into if you work hard enough. The same, the thing you want and the version of you who has it are tuned to the same station, and that station is the one you are currently broadcasting on, or it is not. There is no middle ground, there is no halfway. You are either on the frequency of the thing or you are not, and whatever you are currently on is what is currently coming to you. This is not metaphor, this is not motivation. This is the most accurate description I can give you of how the law actually operates. And tonight I am going to show you, with a single, clean, unforgettable image, exactly how this works, so that you can use it deliberately starting tomorrow. Let me give you the image now, because the image is everything. Once you have the image, you have the teaching. You will never forget it. Imagine an old radio, the kind with a dial. You turn the dial, and the speakers play music. You turn it again, and the speakers play news. You turn it again, and the speakers play a sports broadcast. You turn it again, and you hear a foreign language you do not understand. Now ask yourself a simple question. Did the radio create those broadcasts? Of course not. The broadcasts were already there. They were always there. They were filling the room before you turned the dial, and they will be filling the room after you turn it off. There are hundreds of them, traveling through the air, passing through your walls, passing through your body, this very second. Music, news, sport, talk, every language, every frequency, all at the same time. The radio does not create anything. The radio receives. It receives one broadcast at a time, the one its dial is tuned to. Every other broadcast is still happening. The radio simply is not picking it up. This, and I want you to feel this in your body, is exactly how your life works. The thing you want is not far away. The thing you want is not in the future. The thing you want is not something you have to construct out of effort and good luck. The thing you want is already broadcasting. Right now, in this very room, passing through you, around you, available to you, the same way a radio station is available to a radio. The only question is whether your dial is tuned to it. When you are not tuned to the thing you want is not absent. It is broadcasting. You are simply not receiving it. And no amount of wanting, no amount of straining, no amount of effort will let you hear a station your dial is not tuned to. The dial is the only thing that matters. The dial is the entire game. You are the radio. Your inner state is the dial. And your life is whatever broadcast you are currently picking up. That is the whole teaching, in one image. Hold on to it. We are going to build everything from here. Now let me show you why this changes everything about how you have been trying to get what you want. Most people, when they want something, treat it as a problem of distance. They imagine the thing far away from them and try to close the gap. They strive, they push, they reach, they work harder, they want more intensely, they visualize more vividly. All of this is the action of a radio that thinks it can hear a different station by turning the volume up. But you cannot reach a different station by turning the volume up. You cannot reach a different station by working harder on the wrong frequency. You cannot reach a different station by wanting it more. The wanting is happening on whatever frequency you are already on. And as long as you stay on that frequency, the wanting only amplifies what that frequency contains, which is the absence of the thing. This is why so many people who have been trying so hard for so long are exhausted and discouraged. They have not failed, because they did not want enough. They have failed because they have been turning up the volume on a station that does not play the song they are trying to hear. The harder they crank the dial of effort, the louder the wrong station plays. And then they conclude that the song they want does not exist, or is not for them, or is somehow blocked. The song exists. The song is playing. The song has been playing the whole time. You are simply not on its frequency. This is the great correction the teaching offers you. It is not a problem of distance. It is a problem of tuning. You do not need to travel to the thing you want. You need to become the frequency on which it broadcasts. The moment you are on its frequency, it appears in your life as effortlessly as music appears in a radio when the dial finds the right number. You do not have to drag the music into the room. You only have to tune the receiver. This is why effort, in the way most people use it, is so often counterproductive. They effort toward the thing instead of efforting into the frequency of having it. They keep their dial tuned to wanting, and they push, and the broadcast of wanting keeps coming through louder and louder. Whereas if they would simply turn the dial, quietly, without strain, to the frequency of having, the thing would arrive, almost casually, as though it had been waiting for them to find it, which of course it had. I want to be very precise now about what a frequency actually is, because this is where most people get vague, and vagueness is what keeps the teaching from working. A frequency is not a thought. A frequency is not an affirmation. A frequency is not a wish. You can think any thought you like, repeat any affirmation you like, hold any wish you like, and stay on the same frequency you have been on for years. Thoughts pass through, affirmations pass through, wishes pass through. The frequency itself is something deeper, steadier, more habitual. Your frequency is the state you live in, the settled inner posture you occupy most of the time, the quiet emotional climate that hums underneath your day, regardless of what is happening on the surface. The way you carry yourself inwardly when no one is watching, when you are not performing, when you have nothing to prove. It is the answer to the question, what do I assume about reality, when I am not actively trying to assume anything? What is the background hum of your inner life? What is the resting note? For most people, the resting note is some flavor of not enough money, not enough time, not enough love, not enough recognition, not enough certainty. They do not consciously think this. They do not write it down. They do not even feel it as a discrete thought. It is simply the air they breathe inwardly. It is the station their dial has been parked on for so long that they do not even notice it anymore. And every single thing that arrives in their life is broadcasting from that station. The opportunities that come to them are not enough opportunities. The relationships that find them are not enough relationships. The amount of money that flows through their hands is a not enough amount of money, because the dial is tuned to not enough, and only not enough signals come through. This is why your life has its consistent flavor. It is not random. It is not bad luck. It is the precise, perfect, faithful broadcast of the station you have been quietly tuned to. The flavor of your life is the flavor of your frequency. Change one, and the other follows. So when I say get on the frequency of what you want, I do not mean think different thoughts about it. I mean something deeper. I mean live inwardly as the version of you for whom the thing is normal. I mean become in your habitual inner state the person whose resting note is the having of this thing. That is the frequency. That is the dial position. Not a thought, a state. And here is the beautiful, almost embarrassing thing about it. You can change your state in a breath. You always could. You do not have to earn the new frequency. You do not have to qualify for it. You simply have to turn the dial, and the radio receives immediately whatever is broadcasting on the new station. Now I want to show you why the law is so strict about this, why the thing you want simply cannot arrive while you are on the wrong frequency. Because once you see this, you stop fighting reality and start cooperating with it. A radio tuned to the new station cannot play music, not because the music does not exist, not because the radio is broken, not because the music is being held back from the radio, but because the radio is physically incapable of receiving two stations at once. It is tuned to one. That is what it gets. The other broadcast is happening fully and freely, but the radio's dial is in the wrong position to pick it up. Your life works in exactly the same way. The state of being you are habitually on cannot receive the broadcast of a different state. The frequency of not enough cannot receive abundance. The frequency of unloved cannot receive love. The frequency of unwell cannot receive wellness. The frequency of struggling cannot receive ease, not because abundance, love, wellness, and ease are unavailable. They are broadcasting at full strength, all the time, in the very same room you are standing in. But your dial is tuned elsewhere, and so what is broadcasting elsewhere passes through you completely, unreceived. This is not the universe being cruel. This is not life being unfair. This is the simple mechanical reality of how reception works. Every receiver gets only what its dial is tuned to. It cannot get the rest. It cannot get the rest no matter how badly it wants the rest. It cannot get the rest no matter how hard it works for the rest. The dial position is everything. And here is the part that most people miss. The thing you want and the version of you who has it are on the same frequency. When you are on that frequency, both arrive. The thing and the having of it come together because they are the same broadcast. When you are not on that frequency, neither arrives. Not the thing, not the having, because they are not separate things to be collected. They are one signal, broadcasting on one station, available to one dial position. This is why people who become rich rarely describe a moment when the money arrived and then they felt rich. They describe almost the opposite. They became inwardly the frequency of someone for whom money flows, and then the money flowed, because the flowing of money is what is broadcasting on that station. The wealthy self and the wealthy life come together. They are not two things. They are the same signal received. So if you are wanting something and you are not receiving it, the answer is never to want more. The answer is always to tune the dial, to shift your habitual state to the one on which the thing broadcasts. The moment you are there, the thing comes through. Not because the universe relented, because your receiver finally tuned in. So how do you actually do it? How do you turn the dial of your inner state? This is the part that matters, because if you cannot operate the dial, the teaching is only beautiful theory. The dial is turned through a very specific inner movement. And once you know it, you can do it in any moment, in any place, in any state of life. It does not require silence. It does not require meditation. It does not require an empty schedule. It requires one inner act, performed deliberately, repeated until it becomes habit. The inner act is this. You assume the state of the version of you for whom the thing is already normal. Not wish for it, not hope for it, not visualize it, assume it. You step inwardly into the settled inner posture of the person who already has what you want, for whom it is not a goal but a fact, for whom it is ordinary, expected, simply how their life is. You take their inner climate, their casualness, their unstrained sense of course. That state, that quiet, unspectacular of courseness, is the new dial position. The moment you occupy it, the dial has turned. The new broadcast begins to come through. Let me make this concrete with the radio image. Imagine you are at a friend's house, and a song is playing in another room. You can hear it faintly through the wall. You like it, but you cannot quite enjoy it, because the volume is too low, and the bass is muffled by the wall. So what do? You do not stand at the wall straining to hear it better. You walk into the other room, the room where the music is playing, and the moment you enter that room, the song is fully there, clear, loud, surrounding you. You did not bring the music into your life by wanting it more. You moved yourself into the room where it was already playing. This is what tuning the dial actually feels like. You are not pulling the thing toward you. You are walking into the room where the thing is already happening. The room is the state. The state is the frequency. You walk in by inwardly becoming the person for whom the thing is normal. And the music is suddenly all around you, because you are now in the room where it has been playing the whole time. Practice this several times a day, not as a special ritual, as a small, easy, ordinary movement. Where is my dial right now? You check. Is it on the station I want to be receiving? If not, you turn it quietly, without strain, by stepping into the inner state of the version of you who has the thing. Hold that position for as long as you can, even 30 seconds, even a single breath. Each tuning is a vote. Each tuning trains the dial to settle there more easily. After enough tunings, the new station becomes your default, and your life, the broadcast you are receiving, begins to change accordingly. Now I have to warn you about something here, because if I do not, you will get confused at exactly the wrong moment. When you first turn the dial, the new station begins to come in, but you will notice something strange. The old station does not vanish immediately. For a while, you can still hear it faintly underneath the new broadcast. The old conditions still appear in your life. The old echoes still arrive. The old reality still tries to assert itself. This is normal. This is mechanical. This is not a sign that the new frequency is not working. Think of it this way. Even when you turn a radio dial cleanly to a new station, there is a moment of overlap, a moment where you can hear traces of the old broadcast bleeding through. The receiver is recalibrating. The new signal is locking in. Within a few seconds, the old fades, and the new is all that comes through. In your life, this overlap is longer, because life has more inertia than a radio dial. The old conditions you have been generating for years do not vanish the instant you tune to a new state. They were broadcasting for a long time, and a few of their echoes are still in flight, still on their way to you. Those echoes will arrive even after you have tuned away. You will see them, you will hear them, you will feel them. They will tempt you to conclude that nothing has changed. But the truth is, you have already turned the dial. The new station is already coming through. The old echoes you are still receiving are simply late. They were sent before you tuned away. They are arriving on a delay, and if you keep your dial steady on the new station, those old echoes will run out. They have to run out. They have no fresh source anymore. You are not broadcasting them. You are not feeding them. They are finishing. And once they finish, all that will be in the air around you is the new broadcast, clean, full, undisturbed, surrounding you in the music of the new frequency. So when you turn the dial, and the old conditions still appear for a while, do not turn it back. Do not conclude it failed. Hold the new station. The old is just finishing arriving. The new is on its way. And reality, faithful as ever, will catch up. So here is what I want you to take with you tonight. Into every moment you find yourself wanting something that has not yet arrived. Everything you want is on the same frequency as you, or it is not. There is no in between. The thing is not far away in space, it is not far away in time. It is not behind a wall of struggle you have to break through. It is broadcasting right now, in the room you are sitting in, on a particular station, and your dial is either tuned to it or it is not. That is the whole game. You are the radio. Your inner state is the dial. Your life is the broadcast you are currently receiving. And the dial can be turned any time, in any breath, by stepping inwardly into the state of the version of you for whom the thing is normal, the version for whom it is not a goal, but a fact, not a hope, but a casualness, not something far away, but something already here. You do not have to drag the thing into your life. You only have to walk into the room where it is already playing. Walking into the room is the inner act of assumption. The state is the room. The state is the frequency. And the moment you are in the room, the music is all around you, full, clear, present, because you have at last placed yourself where it has been playing the whole time. This is why some people seem to receive easily and effortlessly, while others struggle and strain and never quite arrive. It is not luck, it is not favoritism, it is not specialness, it is dial position. The ones who receive are simply tuned to what they want. The ones who do not are tuned elsewhere, no matter how hard they wish otherwise. The dial knows nothing about wishing. The dial only knows where it is set. So tonight, before you sleep, do one thing. Turn the dial. Step inwardly into the room where what you want is already playing. Become for a few quiet minutes the version of you for whom the thing is ordinary. Feel the casual, settled of coarseness of someone who is already there. Do not strain for it. Do not perform it. Simply walk in and let yourself stand in the music. That is the tuning. That is the act. That is the entire practice. And then tomorrow, do it again, and the next day, and the next, not as a project, as a small ordinary movement, a few times a day, the way you might glance at your phone. Where is my dial? Where do I want it? Turn. Within weeks, the broadcast you are receiving will begin to shift. The old station will fade. The old conditions will finish arriving. The new music will rise around you, clean and full, and you will realize that the thing you have been wanting was never far away. It was always playing. It was always in the room. You only needed to tune in. You are not waiting to receive your life. You are choosing in every breath what to receive. So tune the dial. The music is already playing. Thank you and good evening. This is Best of Lectures. I will see you in the next video.